that said, let's focus on earnings yet again. IREDA is the next management on the show. The company, in fact, did report their numbers. The stock saw a sharp drawdown in Friday's trading session. However, today it's bouncing back. The Q3 earnings witnessed a sharp improvement in spreads. The problem was on asset quality. To discuss this and more, we're joined by Mr. Pradip Kumar, the Chairman and Managing Director of the company. Hi, Mr. Das. Good morning and thanks a lot for joining in. Tell us about the asset quality. There appears to be pain in asset quality. Was there any one-offs? And if you could give us a guidance from here on in terms of your asset quality numbers.
Yeah, very good morning and thank you for inviting me here. See, our gross NPA and net NPA is slightly gone up, and you see that is in a particular group's account, some 433 crore. But this is just NPA figure gone up. It is not that write-off we have considered anything like that. And you see that belongs to that waste to energy and bioenergy category. In our total loan portfolio, you see hardly 1% of our loan portfolio is having that kind of assets. So therefore, we do not foresee much problem in that. And this has just become NPA now, and the group is working on it. And they are taking certain other measures to how to come out from NPA. And we are quite confident in the time to come that also can be translated into a not NPA account. And if you see total net NPA, that is around 1.5, and when our book size is 69,000 crore roughly, and in which 80% of the assets are from traditional area and 20% from emerging area, where the new and emerging technology and challenges, all policies, everything is there. Despite that, we have maintained. And also, 76% books is with private sector and 24% with government sector. Despite having 76% and despite having 20% emerging, our account is that. And if you look at this SMA category of assets, hardly 6% is coming under SMA. And largely those are coming from traditional area, and by and large those are coming nowadays because of the little time, cycle time of the realization of those developers from the customers is slightly increased. But however, those have not impacted NPA at all so far. So therefore, we are confident in the time to come to happen. And if you look at that particular group's account, and they had perfect tie-up of the raw material as well as for the off-taker agreement and all. Only COVID and post-COVID, their project management impacted a bit. And I'm sure the group is taking all kind of measures to again look into how the account can become not in.
Okay, all right, Mr. Das, let's come to the numbers since you just mentioned net NPAs at around 1.5% and gross NPAs around 2.7%. Going ahead, what do you see these numbers cool off to? And also help us out with what are the slippages number, the write-offs number for the past quarter? Please go ahead, sir.
See, as I said, only 433 crore new NPA has been added. And as far as going ahead, we are confident this number is going to come down. If you see last almost 18 quarters, we had been reducing the NPA gradually and not by just settling with any kind of haircuts and all. By and large, mostly, I think in more than 95% of our NPA account, wherever we have gone for settlement, we have either realized the principal cost of funds or principal on simple interest or principal cost of loss and certain fair amount of margin there. So that was their approach to settle the account in last 18 quarters. And 18 quarters continuously reduction was happening. Only this quarter, because of one account, it has gone up, one group's account. And we are quite confident that this, to come by March, will again work out to bring down the NPA.
Okay, slippages and write-offs in the past quarter, you want to give us that number?
See, these slippages, what has happened now also, these are pertaining to prior to 2020 sanctions and all. And if you see last 4-5 years, whatever sanction we have done or disbursement we have done, we do not have any major NPA or slippages. So therefore, I do not foresee that any kind of major slippages in the March or in the time to come.
Okay, so now that we've understood the asset quality picture, so let's talk about both the outlook for disbursals and also margins. I mean, your margins in the reported numbers are actually looking very steady, 3.3%. What is the funding environment like, and what is the expectation that you have?
We have been focusing on between 3 to 3.5. As our name speaks, the developmental agency, renewable energy developmental agency. So our object, and being the sole arm of new and renewable energy ministry, our focus is to develop the sector. And we have been focusing fair amount of margin, that 3 to 3.5. And our NIM is always range bound if you see continuously and consistently. See, we have the opportunity to enhance the rate in emerging sector, which probably a kind of fair amount of monopoly. It's not exactly monopoly, but at least we are the first choice by the developer to look at when it is new and emerging. But there, what happens if we enhance the rate, we'll have a better margin. Sorry. But what will happen, the project which is becoming bankable, they may not become bankable. That is the prime responsibility to us. And when we have a 500 gigawatt target, and already 205 has been achieved, and if you see RE only, I'm taking out nuclear, 485 is to be done. So another 280 is going to be added. And fair amount of business opportunities there if we work with a disciplined approach. And the way we have executed in last 4.5 years, rather I will say last 37 years, particularly last 4.5 years, and I'm quite confident our business is going to continue to have that kind of steady growth. You look at our sanction has gone up more than 100%. And disbursement or profit or any kind of figure, if you see, it is always in 30 plus and around. So that kind of continuous and consecutive growth what we are showing, that speaks our robust due diligence process and robust project review monitoring and catching the early warning signals also.
No, sir, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, no taking away from it. Even this time, your AUM growth is very solid, 36% year on year. Just looking for the number for FY25, what will be the AUM growth? And if you could just give us a margin range as well for the year as a whole.
You are asking for FY25. We have given up to 2030.
Yeah, I mean, in the near term, just to understand, in the near term, that's the long-term, picture. In the near term, what are the sort of levels that your shareholders can look out for?
Roughly what we have given to Government of India and signed MOU with them, around 29 to 30,000 we are going to disburse. Already 18,000 we have crossed. So, see, if you look at 4 years back, we used to do only 8,500 crores of disbursement in a year. And we have now, last year we have done around 25,000 crores. So this time we have an internal target much more than that, but at least with the Government of India, what we have signed, that is around 29 to 30,000 crores. So definitely we are confident of looking into that kind of figures. And as far as NIM is concerned, if you see our borrowing cost has been reduced. If you do the year-on-year comparison, we have improvised on our borrowing cost.
No, got that. And we saw that, Mr. Das. No, it's been, yeah, sorry, please.
And the way forward, we are again looking into various options, both domestic as well as overseas lending now. We want to reduce further. Yeah, and again, we hope in this budget we get that 54 EC recognition. That will further help us to reduce our borrowing cost. And we are quite confident of further reducing the borrowing cost, if not sustaining that. Second, we have fair amount of pipeline of sanctions with us. And since government has already bidded almost 50 gigawatt and 42% of that has already been PPA signed. And normally, when we do the appraisal and due diligence, we look into PPA signing conditions and all. If you take out that, then say 12 to 13 gigawatt, out of 50 gigawatt, if you take 42%, already 18 gigawatt has already been done. And last year's installed capacity addition is 18 gigawatt. So fair amount of business is there, and we are quite confident to reach the figures what we have planned.
Mr. Das, no, very well explained. Just one last question before we wrap up. Prashant, this side, and good to see you, sir. I remember there was an approval which had come in to set up a different wholly owned subsidiary to venture into retail lending. Where is that at?
We have already received the consent from DIPAM and the ministry, and we have already submitted a request to RBI. And that is in process. And we are expecting maybe in a couple of months. I cannot tell the exact figure because it is RBI who is the regulator. So it will not be appropriate to talk something which is in their domain. So we are expecting, because they have asked us submit the business plan and all. We have already submitted them. And we believe that by this year end or beginning of the new FI, we can be in a position to start that activity. See, we want to go slow but steady in that area. Because lending a project loan and lending a retail loan is completely altogether different ballgame.
Correct.
So we have to do that.
No, absolutely. But that will also help in diversifying the overall portfolio. Important
More
in that sense.
importantly, because since we are coming out with QIP shortly, so we need to be cautious in all fronts and would not want to lose the investor confidence. And if you see our public shareholders, they are having 21% holding since beginning to till now also.
Okay.
QIP by when, sir? This quarter?
This quarter we are targeting.
All right. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it very much here on CNBC TV18. And good luck. Good conversation, detailed conversation with you as always. We'll